Well, hello everyone, welcome back. And today I'm outside. I haven't been outside much all summer. My garden is grown quite a bit. It's producing, but things are very, very slow ripening. And the reason, as you can see, is this smoke. And today is not bad. I have not been out much since the beginning of July because we have had almost constant smoke. A lot of it in the unhealthy range, extremely unhealthy. They have shut down schools several times because of the smoke. Because just being out in it a short time is terrible and you can feel it in your chest. So the garden is coming along. Again, it's just, there's lots of tomatoes, lots of peppers, a lot of things, but it's just slow ripening. And that's because we just are not getting much sunlight through the smoke. So I'm thankful for what I'm getting. Here's one of those Armenian cucumbers. They've done pretty well. I've gotten some beans. I've got a few pieces of okra, not much. A few tomatillos and a lot of peppers. They're doing amazing, and I'm really thankful for that. I'm not getting regular cucumbers. I'm getting these Armenian, so at least I'm getting some this year. I've never been able to grow them because of the squirrels, and I've had to remove a couple of squirrels recently. I did get the hornworms under control, and I do it naturally. I do it by coming out, finding them, and picking them off. And then my chickens get a great juicy snack, and they love it a lot. So there's my garden. But I got this greenhouse beginning of July 3rd. And I have not been able to do anything with it. First, because of heat, but also hauling all this dirt in here from the garden. I have a big pile in there. Well, did. A lot of it's here now. Being able to come out here and work and do that kind of heavy work just isn't a good idea in that kind of smoke. And then we've had a lot of days of 100+ temperatures, which led to the second problem. This thing was averaging around 116 degrees inside. Even with the vents popped open, it would take it down to about 110 with that fan back there. So, it just wasn't practical to put anything in here. We put this portable swamp cooler in, and it did help some. And we still may have to use it, but right now, temperatures have cooled off considerably. I can stand in here in the greenhouse right now, and it's not uncomfortable. So I'm pretty comfortable with putting my plants in it now. So I'm excited. Today I'm going to finally get to plant something in my greenhouse. I bought these peppers probably a month ago, maybe longer. And you can see how sad they're looking, and that's because they're still in these pots, but also the smoke and not getting good sunlight. So I'm pretty sure they'll perk back up once I get them in here and get them watered in well. And these are an experiment. I'm going to just plant some seeds, and I've got some black creme and beefsteak tomato seeds, and I've got some scallop squash. I'm going to try planting those. I've got a few other things. I'm going to give it a try. We'll see what I get. So again, I'm not sure what I'm going to get out of here. I am going to take these peppers off. And those two are jalapeno. And this one is ancho poblano. So let's get started planting some peppers. Now this soil is what's called double mix that I bought in bulk. And it's pretty good. It's supposed to be soil and compost, but it sure doesn't seem like it's had much organic matter in it at all. So I also put something on here called Boost. And it really seems to help things in the garden, so I'm going to try it here also. And I'll just kind of take off some of these leaves that really aren't well. And that way the plant doesn't have to fight as much. And I will probably also take a pepper out of the garden and overwinter it in here. And I did that last winter and put them in my house in a pot, and they did wonderful because I've had peppers since early in the season. Once I brought them out and they got some sunlight. So I think these peppers are going to be happy now that they're going into soil. Yeah, this one's really gotten a little bit root bound. And again, this is the first day I've been able to come out and do much because of this smoke. Yesterday and the day before were extremely bad. There we go, my first planting in my greenhouse. I think I'm going to plant the tomatoes down on this end. And I could plant these in starter pots, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to just try direct into the soil and see what happens. I think I'm going to plant my squash down in this lower bed. I don't think it needs that height. But I am excited about planting these. I'm going to see if I can grow okra in here. I planted a ton in the garden, and even with all the heat we had this year, it still hasn't produced very much. Partly because we have such cool evenings, but with the greenhouse, I'm thinking this might do okay. Pray for me because I really want this. I really want to grow some okra. I doubt we'll manage in the winter, but if I can get some in before winter comes, I'll be very happy. And this is Clemson Spineless. And I think I'm going to plant some contender green beans around the tomatoes. Again, I don't know how any of this is going to do, but you got to start trying somewhere. And if you haven't seen my other videos about the greenhouse, this right here, I paid extra for because we have extreme winds. And I'm talking hurricane force winds at times and other winds that are just very, very strong throughout the year. With these braces, this will withstand guaranteed up to 130 miles per hour. If you also have the anchors that hold this to the ground. And those have to be installed by a licensed contractor. And so we did have all that done, although I got to assemble this, a lot of the work. So that was exciting. But this, for me, was worth paying extra for. Without these, it should be able to withstand 110 miles an hour as long as it's anchored. But with this, the extra 20 miles per hour is so worth it for me. I'm not willing to risk this greenhouse for the little bit that it costs for those. So if you're in an area where you're worried about getting a greenhouse because of severe weather, this will also, with the bracing, withstand 7-foot snow load. And they have measured this up at Lake Tahoe, where they get some pretty crazy snow, and there's pictures on their website. Snow up to here, or actually higher. And yet the greenhouse is still standing. So these are an investment, but they are worth it if you have some crazy conditions. We do. We get snow sometimes, but we really get those crazy winds. Now on this side, these have mesh bottoms, and that allows you to put potted plants on all these. And I've also got my extra amendments and stuff stored over here for now. But down here is this low growing bed. So in the winter, I'm going to be having greens in there, and I'm really excited about that. Right now, it's still pretty warm in here for greens. I'll probably plant some out there. So right now, I want to get something in that can maybe extend their season just a little bit by being in the greenhouse and being warm. But I am going to plant some Swiss chard in here. I love Swiss chard. I tried to plant kohlrabi out in the garden and none came up. Again, it could have been our insane summer with extreme heat and smoke. And then I'm going to try planting, as I said, some of the scallop squash. I think I'll put the scallop squash back here. This is facing south, and it is going to be the hottest part, this and the west. That's why I built the greenhouse in this direction, because in the winter, this will be the warmest spot. And this will also, not quite as much as south, because most of our sun comes from the south in the winter. But I'm going to do some other things to try and insulate this during the winter, because we can get some pretty low temperatures. This is the squash, so I'm going to put it back here. And I don't mind this being down here because it wants to sprawl. So I can, once it gets going, I can let it sprawl over here because this will be gone. And it has room to grow out. But hopefully next year I'm going to have at least double this size, because I'm going to buy some more modules and extend the greenhouse out. That's the plan. Now this Kohlrabi says it can grow tightly together, so I'm going to plant them about 6 to 8 inches apart. And you can also plant these every few weeks to continue getting some. Now some Swiss chard. And it doesn't need heat, so I'm going to plant it back here on the east and the north side where it's a little bit cooler. But I've had Swiss chard grow through the winter here, crazy as that is. So it will take a lot. And I've still got some room to plant more if I'd like. Well, it's planted and it's watered. And we're going to see how it does. The vents from the top are open. They open at 75 degrees. That fan is on a thermostat and it will kick on when it reaches 95 degrees. So right now it's below that. I did turn on the little swamp cooler because it's going to put some more moisture in there and keep the temperature down. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to shut the door and see how it does. So that's what I'm doing today, and I will bring you back in a few weeks and let you see if it's working or if it's not working and tell you what's going on. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Go check out modulargreenhouses.com. They are amazing. They have been wonderful to work with. These things come packed flat. They can come on a 4-foot pallet, just packed flat. And yet they are amazingly strong. So go check it out. They guarantee these things. They stand behind them. And if you mention my channel, you will get a 5% discount. So modulargreenhouses.com. Thanks for watching. God bless, and we'll talk soon.